We have been seeing the Smash or Pass challenge going around, and we saw a few people doing a Booktok version, so we knew we had to do one ourselves.
I think the biggest challenge is that we've been working on our physical TBR a lot this year, so we haven't necessarily read all of the new popular books, and we don't often read the same books. But we do have a nice list here, so we're just gonna go through and let you guys know if we think these popular books are worth reading by smashing or passing them. I'm excited.
Me too. And I know it's gonna be funny because there's a few that I know I like and you don't like. So the first one we have is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. So this is a college sports romance. We have Anastasia, who is a figure skater, and then Nathan, who is the captain of his hockey team. So whenever they do meet, they kind of start off on the wrong foot, and then they end up having to share the same rink together. Smash or pass?
Pass.
I mean, I thought it was really cute. I know a lot of people didn't like it. This was our first book club book, and the reviews were all over the place. I mean, there were some people who loved it, some people who didn't like it. I thought it was a solid college sports romance. There was a lot of smut that I wasn't expecting, and I think that's like what threw me off the most. But I mean, I liked getting to know these characters. I thought they were super cute together. I liked getting to know like everybody else, like their friends, and I could see myself reading like the next ones.
I liked it. I think the best experience part was reading it with the book club and discussing, but as far as just how it stands on its own, I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite sports romance. I just don't think it was worthy of the hype that it had this year, because I feel like it was very popular. So I'm gonna pass for that reason, but I didn't hate it. Okay, so the next one we have is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. This one is a workplace romance. Olive is a scientist, and she gets herself into a situation where she has to fake date one of the hotshot professors who is known for not being too friendly. Smash!
This one was so cute. It was like the perfect rom-com. Everything you want and need in one of these rom-coms. There were so many funny moments. I was rooting for the couple. Another one too where like I loved the friends. And that was my only problem. Like the next book, I wanted it to be the friends romance.
I do agree. I think this was one of my highest rated romance books of last year. This is one that I do think deserved the hype. I really liked Ellie Hazelwood's writing.
I remember with this one, I was like interested and entertained right from the prologue.
This one was definitely worth the hype. We both smashed. Go read it if you haven't already.
The next one we have is Behind Closed Doors by B.E. Paris. This one is a suspenseful domestic thriller. We're following Jack and Grace, who seem like they have the perfect life and marriage, until we unravel what's going on behind closed doors.
Smash! This one has amazing reviews on Goodreads, so I had very high hopes going into it, and I think I was just disappointed from the start. I do think a huge disconnect for myself was that I didn't love our main character, and that's of course going to cause an issue for me right away. I felt like the storyline was a little bit rushed, and then as everything was unraveling, I felt like everything was kind of underdeveloped. I don't know, this just was not my favorite. The only thing I did like was the very, very end. Like I thought the last page was pretty good, but I just don't think I loved the book as a whole.
I did like the story. I thought it was entertaining. I did know how it was going to end early on, but I liked the journey of getting there. I thought it was an easy read. It's under 300 pages. I really enjoyed this one. It's just a simple domestic thriller.
Up next, we have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This one is a murder mystery inspired by Agatha Christie, where the Darker family gets stuck on a dangerous island and they start getting picked off one by one. Smash! This was another book club book. I loved it. This was my first book by Alice Feeney, and I loved her writing. I just thought the whole thing was entertaining. It was twisty. Everything was so good. It's a perfect spooky read for the fall time, definitely.
I knew I was gonna love this one because Rock, Paper, Scissors is hands down one of my favorite mystery thrillers that I've read so far, and this one was just as good. It was super entertaining the whole way through. This was another one where I did feel like I kind of know where it's gonna go, but there was also more plot twists in the end. It was so much fun to read with everyone and see everyone's thoughts and guesses. This is a really good mystery thriller.
This one was good.
The next one we have is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This one is a romance book. Fern and Will meet and spend an entire day together, only to have 9 years pass where they have had no contact. And now they are reunited again and have a second chance at love.
Pass.
This was an obvious pass for both of us. I kind of knew I wasn't gonna like, because the second chance romance is never my best friend. The whole one day thing and like having to go back to that one day multiple times through this whole book was just not it for me. I was bored. I didn't like their connection. We didn't even like Will.
No, I didn't like the romance. I didn't like the love interest. I wouldn't read this book.
Yeah.
I did like Every Summer After though. That one was fantastic. I have no issue with her writing. I just didn't like the romance in this one. So up next we have the Off-Campus / Briar U series by Elle Kennedy. These are all sports hockey romances and each book follows a different couple. Smash or pass?
Smash.
Smash. I think these are just so reliable. Are they the best thing I've ever read? No, but every time I pick one up, I know I'm gonna get a fast, funny, short, steamy rom-com.
They're all so much fun, and then you get to know like everybody in this friend group. You get to see where they're at. It's just like one big family, and it's so much fun. I want to go to a hockey game now, you know?
This is what started our love for like sports romances.
Yeah. This was our OG sports romance.
Yes, highly recommend. Again though, are they fantastic? I don't know if it's a 5-star every time.
They're just a good time.
But they're fun.
Up next, we do have the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series. This one is just 6 best friends who turn into 3 couples, and we end up following their journey for years. Smash or pass?
I don't know about this one. What do you think?
I would say smash, but you have to figure it out after you read like the first one. If you connect with the characters, then yes. But if the first one you read it and you're like, okay, this is boring, but maybe it'll get better, then no.
I think if you're down to commit to a contemporary romance series that's 10 books long, if you think that that's something you would like because you like character-driven stories, for sure. However, I personally think I would smash the first 5 books. I'd smash the first half of the series. The second half, I think I would pass. I think I just don't really like where they are at in the future, and I've lost my love for it. So that's why I'm kind of in between. Like smash half, pass the other half. Up next, we have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. It's a fantasy romance series that follows a mortal who has to serve out her sentence in the Fey realm with her captor. Smash.
This was our first true fantasy romance series, and I mean, I love it. It holds such a special place in my heart. I didn't even think I would be like a fantasy girly or like ever want to pick up a fantasy, but these books were so good. The characters, you just love them. Each story in this series just feels like it gets better and better. You got to make it past the first one, because the first one you might read it and think like, oh, it's okay. Just know like it'll get better.
I do love this series. I love the magic systems. I love the characters, and mostly it got me to get into Sarah J. Maas's writing, which I think was the best thing possible because Throne of Glass was fantastic as well. I feel like for new readers, this is a lot of people's starting point when it comes to fantasy romance, and for good reason.
The next one we have is the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey. This is a mystery thriller romance where our main girl is a serial killer and she ends up falling for the FBI profiler working on her case.
Smash. It's just fantastic.
It is so good.
You guys know already, we talk about it any chance that we get. You get almost forbidden love in the middle of this entire mystery that's like chilling and devastating to uncover. It's just so good.
And it's one of those where like, even though this looks intimidating, it goes by so freaking fast because you just want to know what's gonna happen, how it's gonna end. And this is another one where it's more than just the 2 main love interests that you care about. You start to care about their friends and like everybody else who's involved in this. And I love when books can make me feel that way. And I do remember too, I don't normally care for epilogues, but this one was so freaking cute.
It was. Every now and then you come across stories that stick with you forever, and that is definitely this one for me. Up next, we have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is a YA fantasy series where we follow a girl who, after witnessing her parents' murder, is brought to a realm where she's raised with her sisters among fae who despise mortals. Pass.
Okay, look, what you just said sounded so good. This was one where I didn't care for the romance at all. It didn't feel like a romance. I didn't care for like our main 2 people to be together.
I do think it's marketed wrong because we went into it thinking it was going to be another fantasy romance and it wasn't. But then on top of that, when you want to have like pretty much no world building, I remember like not being able to picture anything vividly, and I normally don't have that issue with books. It's like this writing was just really difficult to imagine.
Yeah, there was no information at all, and I had to use my information from ACOTAR to try and understand what was going on here.
Exactly.
I did continue on with the whole series thinking that maybe it'll get better, and it just wasn't for me. The next one we have is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is a sci-fi story about a man waking up on a spaceship with no memory at all and then finding out he is the only survivor.
Smash!
This one was so good. This was my first sci-fi read, and it was so captivating, so entertaining. It was, of course, a little mathematical, scientific, and there were a lot of parts like that, but if you just kind of skim through that and get to the good stuff, you'll be fine. And that's what I was scared about going into this, because I'm like, oh, there's gonna be all kinds of terms that I don't understand, and there was, but I just kind of like read it and was like, okay, I'm not gonna think too hard about it and just keep going.
I think for me, even the stuff I didn't understand just made me appreciate the research that probably went into this, because at least it sounded like they knew what they were talking about. But yes, honestly, this was such a good story. I love the concept. It's like one of those sad but heartwarming stories, and the ending I thought was perfect. I'm excited for the movie.
I was like crying in the end. Ryan Gosling's gonna play the main man.
We gotta go see it.
Yeah, why would you not want to see that?
So up next we have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. In this, we're basically following a group of really wealthy kids and kind of just watching this dysfunctional relationship unfold. Pass. I just don't understand the hype with this one, and that's so sad to say because I know people are in love with this series. This is like the ride or die best series of all time, and I was hoping that I was gonna feel that same way, and I just did not. I do love a I hate you but I love you, right person wrong time, like we're just not at a place where we can love each other type of romance, but like do it right if you're gonna do it. And this one was just infuriating to read about. I could not root for these characters. I think the only good part was how this book ended, but I don't think that's how their story ended. So that's the reason I didn't continue reading, because I felt like this was enough for me, but I was just thoroughly disappointed throughout this book.
It was too much. It was too much going back and forth for me. It was too much toxicity, and not like the fun kind. Not to romanticize toxicity, right, but this one was just like, it wasn't entertaining. I was like, okay, our people need to grow up here, and we need to love ourselves, and this isn't happening. I know a lot of people say it is like Chuck and Blair, and I can see that, but I just wasn't having fun with this. There was a lot of repetitive and immature parts, but I will say the ending was entertaining, but it was too much and too tiring to get there. The next one we have is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is a YA anti-dystopia where everyone in the world is immortal, and the only way that you can die is if you are chosen by a scythe to die. Smash.
Smash.
Of course.
This is the easiest smash on the list. This will forever be a smash because you guys know we love this man's writing. It's always perfect. The concepts are there and the delivery is there, and that's always the two most important things, and he does it right every time.
I say every book is so much fun, but this one was so much fun. The plot was so fresh and intriguing and entertaining. It never got boring. You care about our characters. You want to see the best for them. You want to see how they're going to get out of little situations that they find themselves in. This one easily played like a movie in my head the whole time. I was never locked out. I was always locked in.
Okay.
He writes in such a way that's like, it's not hard to imagine and think about and understand. It's just easy. It's fast. It's entertaining. It's fun.
Up next, we have The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is a mystery story where Hannah's husband goes missing, and it's pretty much just up to her and her stepdaughter to figure out what happened. Smash. Even though there were things I didn't love about the reveal and the ending, this book as a whole and the message behind everything and the lessons that were learned, so good.
This one is a smash as long as you go into it knowing it is a mystery. It is not a thriller, and that was my problem. I thought there was going to be like a thriller in there, and that was my only reason of it not being a higher rating. If I had gone into this knowing, okay, this is a mystery, we're just trying to figure out where the husband has gone, I would have appreciated it more. So as long as you go into it knowing this is a mystery, you'll be good. The next one we have is Twisted Love. This is the first book in the Twisted series. This is labeled as a brother's best friend romance, and both of our characters have dark pasts.
Pass. This book missed the mark for me in every single way. It was almost funny how ridiculous it was. I don't think the story needed these dark twists that were forced on the characters. That's what made it ridiculous. That's what had us giggling in our seats while reading this because we couldn't take it seriously. I think it would have been more tolerable if it didn't have that.
And then the whole brother's best friend, one, she didn't even really know this man. Like, how do you not know your brother's best friend? The fun thing about that is like the angst of like, oh my god, like we've been friends since we were little, like he's been in my life this whole time, you know, like that kind of vibe. And then I was expecting a lot of that fun banter of the brother catching them at any moment. But the brother was literally in a whole other country, so that was never there. There was singing and dancing, and it was just not a good time.
And then the ending got worse and worse and worse. It felt like they were just adding, and I know we're going on a rant, but it felt like they kept adding, like, what's the most cliche thing we can put in this book? They add it to the end of the book. And then he sings.
Too much. Not a good time. Pass.
Pass. Up next, we have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is another YA mystery that takes place at a boarding school. At the school, there was a tragic event that happened years ago, and now Stevie Bell is there, and she's trying to uncover what happened and also see if history is repeating itself.
Pass.
Oh, really?
I thought you were gonna say smash.
I know. I honestly, I didn't not like this book. I don't think it needed the hype that it got. There was nothing in this that made me want to immediately pick up the second book. I felt like this one was okay.
I don't know why. I just wasn't connected to the story. I wasn't connected to the characters. Didn't like finding out what happened in the past. I wanted to find out through our main character, and we kept finding things out in the past. And it just felt weird, and I wasn't like paying attention. I was really distracted a lot, and I don't like when that happens to me in books. I'm not sure exactly what it was that I was just disconnected, but I was disconnected. Next we have A Tender is the Flesh. This is a short horror novel where a disease has broken out and all of the animals have become toxic to eat. So the humans start breeding other humans, and now they're just consuming humans. Smash.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know what you were gonna say.
I'm gonna say smash just because what I just said is crazy. And I know when I read the synopsis for this, I was like, okay, I have to figure out what is going on here. Because honestly, I could kind of see this happening to the world.
Which is ridiculous, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. That summary alone is so interesting and new and fresh, and like this is such a short story, so you might as well just figure out what's gonna happen here.
I think they could write so many other stories based in a world like this. I was thinking it was gonna be something completely different than what it was. The plot wasn't necessarily crazy. We're following like one guy who works at a slaughterhouse and kind of just see how he lives his day-to-day life. Thought that was an interesting way to go about it. I did really enjoy the messages and themes throughout the story. Some of the scenes are very descriptive and graphic. I had to skim over them myself. Just don't expect like a crazy plot. It's just like a really crazy idea.
Yeah, we're just following this man in this world.
Yeah. Okay, up last we have Indigo Ridge by Debney Perry, book 1 in the Eden series. This is a small town romance that has a murder mystery, but the female main character is the chief of police in this town, and the body was found on the love interest's property. Pass. You guys knew though, you guys knew this is nothing new.
That summary sounds great though.
The summary does sound great.
But again, it just wasn't it.
I do think this was a solid small town mystery. I do think it was a little underwhelming, but plausible. My issue rooted from the romance, as we say always. At no point was I rooting for them. At no point did I feel a connection. It felt like it was just extra. It didn't need to be there.
Forced.
Forced. Unorganic. And I think that's what made me not like the book.
And then, like, I really wanted to like this series because we're gonna follow the whole Eden brothers, but we didn't even really get to know the other brothers.
Nope.
For me to be like, oh, well, I like this guy, so I'm gonna keep going. And they kept talking about so many different Edens, but like never really introducing us to them.
Yes. I was confused the entire time of how many siblings there were. I still don't know.
So sad, because I really wanted to love it. I wanted to have all of her books on my shelf because they're beautiful covers, but it just was not for us.
Pass. Sorry we had to end it on a bad note. Also, I love that this turned out just us kind of going on rants instead of reviews, but that's, what do you expect?
It's fine.
this kind of felt like part 3 to our reviewing popular Booktok books. That's kind of what it was. Just with extra rants thrown in. I thought this was fun.
With a fun smash or pass.
Yeah.
Those were just our smash or pass opinions, but let us know what some of y'all's smash or pass opinions, and let us know if you want to see us smash or pass anything else with like couples or book characters in general. I think that could be a fun thing.
That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to join our book club if you haven't already, Literal Besties. The link is in the description. We're currently reading Fourth Wing and we are loving it. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time.
Stores.
Pass. Why don't you say it?
Because I don't know when we're saying it.
Professors who was known for not being too friendly. Smash.
We can't figure out how to say smash or pass on the same track.
Yeah. Okay. 2, 3. Pass.
Why are you so loud? Could you even hear my pass?
That's just how I pass. You gotta level it up then.
I didn't like him at all. I wanted to like punch the book, you know?
Oh.
I'm like, shut up, Will. We wanted Fern to be with literally anyone else. He was a crybaby. Grow up, Will. Yeah, no, Will was horrible. Like, why does Fern... Okay.
Oh, yeah, let's not get on it. We're currently reading Fourth Wing, and it's so good.
Okay, you are yelling.
But isn't it?
It is really good.
Smash.
Oh, no, I meant smash. I meant smash. Sorry, I got confused.
Okay.